Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week in Destiny, we're donning some sweet glow action to praise the sun, talking about upcoming economy changes and the philosophy of Warden's Law, and celebrating accessibility in games. Before we dive into this week's shenanigans, here's a recap of what we chatted about last week. Solstice Returns, hashtag emblematic winner, a message from our ghosts, last chance for 2 trial weapons, Solstice shaders, and Prime gaming rewards. For this week, we're diving into the raid date time. Veil Containment behind the scenes. Let's talk about Warden's Law. It's week 2 of Solstice, let's go. Economy overall recap, plus a nod to Dead Man's Tale. Time to vote on a map. Not that I'm pushing for Cathedral or anything. A win for accessibility, and we're just getting started. So let's dive into it. First up, save the date. It's almost time. Another raid experience is just around the corner. Coming up in Season 22, we'll be reprising another raid for you to relive or maybe tackle for the first time. Although the name of the raid is still under wraps, we did want to make sure that we share the date so you can start making those day one plans now in preparation for the new season. The upcoming raid will go live on Friday, September 1st, 2023. All right, so again, another Friday release date. Some people have actually said they like that more because it's like people get into it on Friday, they learn the strats, they share the strats, and then by Saturday, everyone else can just jump in and have the whole weekend to do the raid then. Now, a few things to keep in mind, just like when King's Fall and Vault of Glass return. Contest mode will be enabled for 48 hours. Clearing the raid with contest mode is the first step to access challenge mode in the director and the secret triumph. Again, guys, this is only applicable to returning raids, essentially doing the raid twice. Now, completing the secret triumph, which consists of a curated list of challenges that must be completed in challenge mode, will be how a fire team can snag the world's first title and get that sweet belt. To enforce the triumph requirement in challenge mode, your fire team will wipe if you fail the success conditions during any encounter. All right, guys, so September the 1st is when the raid will go live. Now, what that actually means is we're gonna have almost 10 days there to prep, which considering at the launch of every season, we normally get a batch of sandbox changes, this will allow us to kind of narrow down the meta. Now, the biggest question is what that raid is going to be. Now, personally, I thought it was gonna be Wrath of the Machine, but then everybody's saying it's gonna be the Leviathan raid. Listen, not that I wouldn't want to do the Leviathan raid, it's just that Wrath of the Machine is an experience that a lot of Destiny 2 only players never got to have. And considering how long it's been and how good of a raid that was, come on, Bungie, make it Wrath of the Machine. Now, does the container store offer options for the Veil? Asking for Season the Deep. Season 21 brought a few surprises. Hello, deep sea diving and fishing, and new lore to uncover. Season 21's Veil Containment is among those new experiences, including delving more into what actually is this mysterious veil. To explore more about this feature in Season the Deep, we've got the narrative team here to deep dive into both what the Veil Containment activity even is and some behind the scenes action on developing it. Taking away, narrative team. So from the narrative team here, the Veil Containment repeatable activity continues to tell the story of Neomuna's history with the Veil as introduced in Lightfall. If you haven't checked in with Osiris and Nimbus yet, you might not be alone. In wanting Veil Containment to be something discoverable, we went a little too far in one direction and made the activity hard to find, even for the lorehounds interested in digging more into the Veil. A lesson learned for any future content of this sort. Yeah, it's literally on the corner of the map. Now, for the folks who haven't done Veil Containment yet, it begins after you complete the unfinished business quest at the end of Lightfall's campaign and begin the Parting the Veil quest. From here, you'll pursue leads about unusual Vex activity, leading to the discovery of hidden archival records in the Veil Containment facility. After successfully completing this mission, you can return to the Veil Containment node on the far bottom left side of the map. The encrypted recordings have been slowly unlocked week over week, but if you're just starting now, you can get multiple entries back to back at your leisure. Veil Containment will continue to be unlocked for the remaining 3 weeks in Season 21, and additional entries will unlock at the start of Season 22 and Season 23. Writing the story of Veil Containment was an opportunity to dig into the cosmic horror side of Destiny, creating the encrypted records of the Ishtar scientist, Kioma Si, as she and her wife researched an alien force, was a chance to bring the essence of things like the SCP Foundation and creepy podcasts like the Magnus Archives into Destiny. It's a different experience than what we're used to, where we follow along in these peeled back layers of revelations with Osiris and Nimbus, acting like researchers ourselves. Movies like Altered States and a 2001 A Space Odyssey helped inform the tone of the message you uncovered, all of which are underlined by the emotional story of Kioma Si and Maya Sundaresh's lives unraveling in the aftermath of the collapse and their contact with the Veil. We've even seen some keen-eyed players noticing similarities between what Maya attempts with the Veil to what the Witness did in sacrifice sacrificing its own people, and even what Callus did with the Crown of Sorrows and a Pack of Scorn. Those threads and thematic recurrence are intentional guidelines anchoring us to related moments in the past, and help the curious delve into the deeper lore arms with a fistful of useful citations. Another source of inspiration during the creation of Veil Containment was the relation between an outside observer and the concept of the Winnower mentioned in the Books of Sorrow. We wanted to explore the relationship people experience to cosmic, otherworldly forces beyond their understanding, and how it tears both their own moral foundations and sense of self apart at the seams. As we've discovered with Osiris and Nimbus over the past few weeks, the Veil is a cosmic collective consciousness, a psychic network that spreads like a mycelial network through the universe. There's intentional, visual, and thematic connections to the egregore there, but also an allusion to the famous scene in Lord of the Rings where Gandalf warns Saruman about using the Palantir. You don't know who else may be watching. Capturing that sense of foreboding unknown is a staple of cosmic horror. The moment where you realize that your role in the universe is a small one, that the universe itself may be uncaring, and things lurk in it that you have been blissfully unaware of. As our cast is pushed through these harrowing experiences, it also sets the stage for the future in the final shape and beyond. The deep lore is out there. Well, here's the thing. Although I do get into the lore, and yes, I've enjoyed watching Mylan's videos week after week with each one of these revelations, at the same time, I still don't feel like this was delivered the way it should have been. The fact that they're relating it to this cosmic horror. Look, the dialogue from Kioma has been good. The way she sighs in the mic, her sense of hopelessness. I'm not saying she's not selling it, and it's not an issue where the voice actress didn't do enough here. In my opinion, that medium works really good when giving you pieces outside of the main story points. You know, picking up these voice recordings and playing them is supposed to just be the salt and pepper to the meal that you're digesting, which should be told, in my opinion, in a different way. I just feel at this point that many people have probably just checked out when it came to the story and the lore here, which does concern me leading up to Final Shape, because everyone's going to be sitting around going, huh? That's just my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comments below, though. Maybe you like this style of storytelling. Oh, Solstice, my Solstice. It's week 2 of the Solstice event, and you know what that means. It's time to go out there and make Space Grandma proud. Miss Eve Levante is waiting for you at the tower for you to go wild with the new Strand rocket launcher, crowning Duoloc. That or just prance around with your swanky new armor. We're not here to judge how you spend your Solstice time. We just need you to be nice to Grandma, please. And thank you. Warden's Law? More like Wardens we ball. And now, an update from our weapons team. When we were looking at the weapons to bring back for Nightfall rewards this season, we knew we wanted to do something unique. The Warden's Law hand cannon fit the bill. It was a fun idea from back in the Forsaken days that never really caught on with the players due to the difficulty in landing both shots from the vertical spread that it fired. So, we thought to ourselves, how could we make this gun feel better to use while maintaining the identity it originally shipped with? We felt the most important thing was to move away from this idea of it firing a spread, which is when multiple shots are fired at the same time with a single trigger pull, think shotguns, and allow it to fire a burst, which is when multiple shots are fired one after the other with a single trigger pull, think pulse rifles. The initial version of the new Warden's Law pretty much had it becoming a legendary version of Crimson, complete with a 3-round burst, but minus the healing on kills. Wow, interesting. Now, while that was fun, it never felt right, and it also felt like it took something away from Crimson itself. We went through several variants, including a handful that modified the time between the bullets in the burst, before settling on a 2-round burst with a slightly longer delay between shots than normal. Normal burst fires at 900 rounds per minute. This one fires at 600 rounds per minute. Next, we knew we had to tune it to give players a reason to run this over our standard 120 round per minute hand cannons. And we also knew we needed to make it feel great to use, while still leaving room for perks and stats to improve it. We spent some time focusing on several major parts of the equation: the damage per burst, the PvP time to kill, and the recoil pattern. Because the weapon is harder to use than a normal hand cannon, and that you must hit 2 shots in a burst with each trigger pull instead of just 1, we decided to allow it to do slightly more critical damage and kill just a bit faster than something like Igneous Hammer. We utilized the damage profile that aggressive frame hand cannons had some years back, dealing up to 90 damage per burst against players, that being 25 damage per body and 45 damage per crit. Keep in mind, guys, this is a 2-round burst hand handgun. Then we slightly reduce the burst delay, the time between the bursts themselves, as opposed to the time between shots within a burst, so that it is slightly faster at 0.93 seconds in its time to kill, instead of the standard 1 second time to kill that other 120s have. Now keep in mind, guys, they reduce the burst delay, that being the time between the bursts themselves, as opposed to that time between the shots within that burst. Now continuing, we were also very careful to tune the recoil pattern in such a way that it felt manageable at a base level, but that still motivates players to utilize perks to improve it. The pattern itself is doubly important because the tightness of the burst has a direct impact on how usable the gun is at longer ranges. Since we were allowing the gun to deal more damage and kill more quickly, we did not want it to be able to reach the same maximum range as standard 120 hand cannons. So we designed the recoil pattern in such a way that without manual recoil control and a little bit of help from perks, it should be more difficult to land 2 crits from the same burst at 35 plus meters, while still maintaining a smooth feel and decent ease of use at closer ranges. We're really excited for you all to get this revamped weapon into your hands, and we hope you have as much fun shooting it as we had working on it. All right, so the weapon itself is going to have issues with both of those shots landing as crits past 35 meters. Honestly, that's pretty much what plagues it today. Warden's Law, the reason why people have not used it is not because it doesn't have good trait combinations. It's because even when your shot is perfect, sometimes one of the bullets out of those 2 does not even land. It almost seems like it's still going to be similar in its inconsistencies, but Bungie's going to give us the opportunity to land that 0.93 second TTK. But what I'm getting from this, guys, is that now that it's a 2-round burst, instead of it actually shooting 2 shots at a time, you're going to have a little more control when landing that second shot. So again, at least my understanding from this, it's going to work like Crimson, but it will be a 2-round burst instead, and it will have a 0.93 second time to kill value. If it has the consistency that Crimson has, which in my opinion is a very, very good weapon, especially for controller players. Crimson is stupid sticky. I said last week that I think we were heading back to a 120 round per minute hand cannon meta, especially with the return of like Igneous Hammer next season. But if this lands right, Warden's Law might just be a monster. Now it's going to be very stat hungry, which is okay, as we're going to be able to get an adept version of this hand cannon, which is going to amp this weapon even more. The main thing here, guys, is that all of this is pretty much subjective. I'm excited to try it, and we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. But the last thing on my bingo card for this year was the possibility of Warden's Law being meta. But hey, I'm here for it. Now let's talk economy, shall we? Yesterday we shared our newest developer insight article diving into more changes specifically coming to the ritual activity rewards. In case you've missed it, you can mosey on over right here. Before you do that, however, let's look at a brief recap. And for the fans of Dead Man's Tale, there's a little something new included below that you won't find in that article. So TLDR, post-match rewards for Crucible, Strikes, and Gambit change due to player feedback. Weapons coming back into the pools for Crucible, Strikes, Gambit, Nightfalls, Iron Banner, and Trials of Osiris. Also increased drop rates for Ritual Ingrams upon completion. They're also changing the Masterwork material caps, and they gave their philosophy on this as well. New cap will be 30 for shards, 30 for Ascendant Alloys, and 100 for prisms. Now overall, this is a nerf, but you can still load up your Postmaster, and those items will remain. Now, what was not mentioned in the article is that Dead Man's Tale will be added to the loot pool for the exotic mission rotator when presage is available. This will also make Dead Man's Tale craftable, so get those crafting pans on because it's about to go down for DMT lovers. Dude, DMT can still slap. It's not the space cowboy rifle that it once was, but it's got some play. Now, the question I have, is it going to be craftable with different roles outside of what is currently present? Huh? Come on, Bungie, make it happen. Now, because you can craft it or grab it from the exotic mission rotator, this exotic scout rifle won't be part of Xur's wares in Season 22, but it will always be a part of our hearts. Now, Cathedral of Dust, more like Cathedral of Must, or not, you decide. It's time to vote which map you want to host the next glorious Trials of Osiris battle. So, where do you want to throw down at? Cathedral, Vostok, and Anomaly. I want everyone here to vote for Anomaly. Stop it. For the love of God, do not vote Cathedral. Now, you can cast that favorite vote from August 1st to August 2nd for those that have registered for the official Bungie emails. For those that are looking for a non-email way to vote, stay tuned for the link on the Destiny 2 Twitter channel on August the 1st. All right, guys, that is your TWAB for this week. As a final note here, and that's a wrap. We've got a few more TWID articles before the upcoming Destiny 2 showcase on August 22nd, 2023. We'll have more to chat about before the reveal action starts, including a few more standalone articles to dive a little deeper into the world of Destiny 2. Your usual hippie reminder to remember to drink your water, practice that self-care, and always lead with your kindest foot forward. Until next time, friends, I should go love hippie. All right, guys, we're less than a month away from the new season, but even bigger than that, the reveal of Final Shape. Curious to know what Bungie's follow-up is, as well as the future of Destiny 2. If you're looking to watch that live, we will be live all day, August the 22nd, for that reveal. Normally, when it comes to something like this, guys, we do like a lore recap. We'll probably watch a number of videos, just kind of giving everyone an understanding, especially considering I think a lot of you have been kind of skipping the Veil Containment missions. That way, we're all up to speed on what's actually being revealed to us. Hopefully, Bungie does a good job onboarding everyone, but when it comes to these reveals, guys, it is always nice to have context. Like, we watched a ton of stuff before Witch Queen, and having that level of context just enrich that entire reveal even more. So come join us. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.